Welcome to Real World AIP. I'm Stacey, and today's video is going to be about how to do AIP when life is crazy. When you don't have time to cook, you don't want to cook, and you don't want to spend so much money going out to eat every meal. What inspired me to do this video is that I had a power outage this week. It lasted 2 full days, and I couldn't cook, obviously I couldn't heat anything up. And then I also got promoted at work, which is a great thing. But it sucked away a lot of my time because I was going in early and I worked 6 days instead of 5. So that added to my lack of time and willingness to slave away in the kitchen. All in 1 week, this all happened. And I'm still faithful to AIP. And my crazy week inspired me to do this video. That also explains why my video is a day later. I know I said Thursdays, and I know this is coming out on Friday, but give me a break. I had a power outage and a job promotion, and I still stayed on AIP. And hopefully this was worth the wait because I'm gonna, tell you some of my tips and tricks for doing it. Needless to say, I had a lot of cold meals this week. Even if you do have electricity, this can be a real time saver. I mean, especially if you're in a rush or you just hate to cook. Breakfast was the usual dates and pecans. Now that's a reintro. So if you're on phase 1, strict elimination AIP, substitute coconut butter, dates and coconut butter. Easy, quick, no cooking involved breakfast. Lunch and dinner were big arugula salads with Kalamata olives, olive oil, some fresh lime juice, salt, avocado slices, and some sliced thin eye-of-round beef that I had already cooked and prepped and sliced and portioned in the freezer. For pre-work, when I needed some carbs, I would add some chopped dates to my salad because I usually have sweet potato, but I couldn't cook anything. I don't personally do well on super low carbs. The cooked portion beef I had on my salad, I had that in the freezer because anytime I cook anything for myself, I pretend I'm cooking for like 6 or 8 people. I eat one of the meals and then I freeze the rest in portions. Now over time, if you do this, every time you make yourself a meal, you'll open the freezer on a busy night when you're starving and it'll be like, okay, so what's for dinner tonight? Meatballs, sliced roast beef, pot roast, lemon thyme salmon, haddock with a saffron orange reduction, maybe some liver and sauteed onions, avocado burgers I can make a lettuce wrap with. So this habit will get you through busy weeks because you'll have a freezer full of frozen dinners that you can just thaw, heat, and eat, and you don't have to set aside a special day every week or hours of a day to do meal prep. Oh, I do that sometimes, but I don't always have time to do that. So, yep, when I'm cooking one meal, make 8 of them. Freeze the other 7. When I do have electricity and I can heat my meals, I make sure to always have wild cooked salmon portioned in the freezer, which I have a video tutorial on, as well as little necks and oysters ready to go, and some form of cooked and seasoned beef always. I eat seafood at lunch and beef at dinner. I'm not sure why, it's just my way of keeping a balance. I don't eat poultry because it gives me migraines, but even if I could, honestly, chicken and pork are so overrated. I mean, besides being lean protein, seafood and red meats are so much more nutrient dense and they have a way better fatty acid profile. So I make sure to eat little necks, oysters, or mussels almost every day because they're especially great sources of B12, zinc, iron. But I don't have time to steam clams every day. Are you kidding me? So what I do is I'll buy like 4 dozen little necks. I'll steam them in a big pot, take them out of the shells after they pop open, and freeze each clam individually in an ice cube tray. I know this sounds crazy, but I pop out a couple of clams out of the ice cube tray onto my lunch before I heat it every day. And the texture doesn't suffer at all. They taste great. And yeah, these clam cubes are a real time saver. I also make sure to eat about 4 ounces of liver a week. Super great source of B vitamins. Sometimes I'll hide it in some sauteed ground beef with coconut oil and fresh herbs. Or sometimes I'll just saute it with onions and call it a day. If you are so disgusted by the even thought of it, you could do the hidden liver route. I do 1 part liver to 3 parts beef, but you might have to do like 1 part liver to 6 parts beef. But just, do it until you can't taste it. Pre-washed organic greens are my best friend. I don't want to spend hours in the kitchen washing produce and chopping vegetables. I like that stuff, but it takes time. If I have the time, I might do it, but normally I just buy the salad greens and kale pre-washed and chopped and ready to eat out of the box, organic of course. And like once a week, I'll make a head of cabbage. I'll just like put it in a big pot and braise it, like easy. And cabbage is cheap too. Or I'll roast some Brussels sprouts, throw them in a thing, little olive oil, salt, roast them till they're brown, boom, you're done. And that's my extra veggie variety. I'll keep some sliced up avocado to throw on my meals because I don't have time to slice it when I'm getting ready for work and I just want to throw my lunch in the toaster oven. I want that avocado sliced and ready to go. That avocado is going to add like a yummy creamy texture to salads, and when you put it on top of food and you bake it, it gets like toasty on the outside and creamy on the inside. It's just good stuff. For carbs, I eat either fresh medjool dates right out of the box or sweet potatoes. Those are my main carb sources. Yeah, sometimes I go crazy and do taro root or whatever, but those are the staples. Cook the sweet potatoes by throwing them in an Instant Pot for 25 minutes. I take the sweet potato, I pop it in there and like put it on 25 minutes, put a little water on the bottom of it. I don't have time to peel and chop or make French fries out of them or spiralize them or mash them. I just pressure cook them. They come right out of the skin. Easy. I sprinkle salt, olive oil, good to go. And I'll make the green plantains in the same way. I like the green ones because they're not as sugary. I leave the skin on. I just slice them in thirds. Like take that one plantain, just boom, 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 3 pieces with the skin still on. Pressure cook it, and it comes out, pops right out of the skin. Done. Easy. Not a lot of dishes. And plantains are really cheap too. I like to keep fruit in the fridge that I can bring with me on errands so I don't get hangry, like an apple or a pear, just something I could just grab, stick in my purse. And I keep canned sardines around for the same reason. Like if I want to make a salad but I don't feel like going to the freezer and thawing protein, I'm that hungry, I'm that strapped for time, canned sardines. I eat a lot of macadamia nuts on the go because they're a great source of calories, just quick. But those are a reintro. Before I reintroduced nuts, I would just do that with like coconut chips, you know, the sliced dried coconut. For adding flavor to food, I take a jar of refined coconut oil because I'm going to be cooking with it. And then I add loads of garlic cloves and herbs. You got to melt the coconut oil first, you know. Put the jar in hot water, whatever. Anyway, you add your garlic and your herbs. You puree them all together. So after I combine the garlic and the herbs with the coconut oil, I refrigerate it and it solidifies. And then I make crumbles out of it with a knife, just like break it all up into crumbles and then freeze it. Now you have these little flavor crumbles. And one batch of this is going to last you for like 6 or 8 months. And now you're not chopping garlic and chopping herbs every time you want to cook something that tastes good. And I mean, I put this stuff on top of my salmon before I bake it in the parchment paper. I'll cook veggies in it. I'll melt it on top of whatever hot food I'm eating. It's delicious. And then if I have time, I will make a big batch of like a chunky sauce out of arugula, celery, lime juice, and capers. And I'll portion that out in the little 4-ounce mason jars. I'll freeze it all, and I keep one thawed in the fridge because it's great. You mix it into a salad, it adds so much flavor, or I put it on fish before I bake it. I use for acidity in like a salad to make like a light, you know, dressing, or on fish, I keep lemon and lime wedges ready to go in the fridge in a little jar. So I can just grab a wedge and squeeze. So keep a jar of thin sliced red onion ready to go. So anytime I'm making a salad or I'm going to make a lunch to pop in the toaster oven, I don't have to chop onions. Like I want to minimize all of that. So it's ready to go in a jar. Even when I do have electricity, I still don't have the time or the desire to be in the kitchen for hours. So in a typical day, you know, I'll still have those dates and pecans or coconut butter if you're on strict AIP. I still have that for breakfast, no matter what. For a hot meal, I'll bake salmon. I'll grab a portion pre-cooked piece out of the freezer. I'll put some little necks or oysters or mussels from the cubes I have in the freezer, pop those into the bowl. I'll grab some kale out of a bag. I'll grab a sweet potato out of the fridge that I had pressure cooked in the Instant Pot with about 2 minutes of meal prep involved. And then I'll maybe take some avocado slices out of the fridge and some cabbage or Brussels sprouts. And that's my lunch. That's my big, hot, like pre-work, like this is gonna last me for hours. For snacks at work, you know, dates and coconut butter always work for snacks. I eat a lot of macadamia nuts. You know, I'm okay with that reintro. And if I have time, again, if I have time, I'll make a big batch of smoothies. I put sweet potato, avocado, coconut butter, coconut water, celery, freeze it in jars. Now I have a meal I can drink because you don't always have time to chew, right? And then for dinner, same thing I eat whether I have electricity or not, because it's good and it's fast. Big arugula salad. Just take the arugula or mixed greens or whatever out of the bag. Take some Kalamata olives out of the jar. Some red onions that I have sliced in the jar. Some lemon juice. I already have it in wedges. Some extra virgin olive oil. Maybe some coconut chips for crunch. Maybe if I'm feeling ambitious, I'll slice up a pear or something to add to it, but I usually don't. And then some form of beef from the freezer. And I've even made delicious salad like this with meatballs I had frozen, and it was good. By the way, one way I keep expenses down and minimize meal prep and dirty dishes is to eat about 8 ounces of protein a day. That's it. I eat 4 ounces of salmon and shellfish at lunch and 4 ounces of red meat usually at dinner. I started this after reading Steve Gundry's Plant Paradox. I mean, I was eating about a pound of protein a day, and I was worried that I would get weak or be hungry all the time or, lose muscle tone if I ate less protein. So I was like going broke and spending hours in the kitchen and stuff eating this pound of protein a day. Well, I haven't lost any muscle. I'm strong in my workouts. I'm not hungrier or less satiated in any way, shape, or form. I just eat a little more healthy fat than before, which is awesome. It makes everything taste good. And of course, fill that plate up with veggies before anything else. This has made a huge difference in my grocery expense and in the time spent cooking and doing dishes. I wish I had tried this a long time ago. I was just always such a protein fiend. And yeah, protein is good, but 8 ounces a day is enough. I'm saving so much money, it's sick. In case you're wondering, because you hear a lot about these things, I personally do not do bone broth or collagen protein or gelatins or fermented foods because my body violently rejects these popular AIP health foods. I would definitely include these in my diet if I could. And they might be really awesome for you. I just don't cover them, talk about them, prepare them, include them in any of my discussions because I can't eat them. My body just won't let me. And I'm not arguing with it on that one because my body always wins. So anyway, this is what I eat on a typical crazy day of my life to minimize my time spent in the kitchen and my expenses. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please subscribe. I put out new videos every Thursday usually, or Friday if my week is insane. Also, I'd love to hear your ideas on any upcoming videos that you'd like to see. Please comment below and tell me what you want to hear about or learn about, and hopefully I'll see you soon, and until then, be healthy.